Welcome everyone to the Malvern Retreat House on this Wednesday of the week. We always take a deeper dive into the second reading from Mass on Sunday, and we're going to do that. So a reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, I should like you to be free from all anxieties. An unmarried man is anxious about the things of the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But a married man is anxious about the things of the world, how he may please his wife, and he is divided. An unmarried woman or a virgin is anxious about the things of the Lord, so that she may be holy in both body and spirit. A married woman, on the other hand, is anxious about the things of this world, how she may please her husband. I am telling you this for your benefit, not to impose a restraint upon you, but for the sake of propriety and adherence to the Lord without distraction. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Good. Well, let's take a look at St. Paul. This is week 3 in a 5-week series from the first letter of St. Paul to the church in the Greek city of Corinth. And this is what Paul is basically saying. Paul is comparing unmarried men and married men, unmarried women and married women. Keep this in mind when this section of Paul's letter is addressing sexual immorality, but also just the role of sexuality in the life of the Christian in general. And that's what Paul is doing here. So, Paul, at this point, thought that the world was ending soon. We saw that last week in the second reading when he said, the world as we know it is passing away. And he's telling us that, live in the world, but don't be of the world, because it's all changing and time is running out. Well, with that sense of the imminent second return of Jesus, Paul approaches the whole issue of being married or unmarried as a man, being married or unmarried as a woman. So this is what Paul says. Paul says an unmarried man is freed up to be more concerned about the things of God and to please God. Then he says a married man, rightly so, is a little bit more distracted and has to be concerned about pleasing his wife, and he's concerned about the things of this world, like making money and having a job and furnishing a house and things like that. Paul says the same thing about unmarried women and married women. He says an unmarried woman or a virgin is free to be concerned about the things of God and the things of heaven, and is less distracted. And then he says a married woman is going to be distracted by trying to please her husband and her children and taking care of the house and things like that. So Paul is just being honest. I think there's some truth to that, and we're going to get back to it. But this is what's super, super important. Paul says, I am telling you this for your benefit. And then he says, I'm not imposing a restraint on any of you. I'm not demanding that you remain unmarried if you're not married, or I'm not saying if you're married you need to live as an unmarried man. Paul is not saying if you're an unmarried woman or a virgin you're not allowed to get married, or if you're a married woman that you need to stop living like a married woman. Paul is not imposing that. However, it does show Paul's preference for the unmarried state, that Paul believed that married people tended to be more distracted than unmarried people when it came to the things of the Lord. Not that one is better than the other. Paul, I think, would probably personally say, I think it's better not to be married. But Paul never condemns the married life. Actually, he does condemn in parts of his letters those people who tell married people that they're not supposed to live like married people. That drives Paul crazy. So, This is just a little bit of a common sense teaching. It's also coming from Paul's perspective. Just a reminder that we need to listen to the whole teaching of Paul. We just can't take bits and pieces from Paul's teachings and say, Paul taught this all the time. That's not fair to Paul. There are times when Paul said things that doesn't make sense to our modern ears about women, but we need to know where Paul is coming from. Also, somewhere else, Paul might be kind of almost reversing his stand on the role of women. So let's read all of what Paul said about any issue, in this case about married men and women, and about unmarried men and women. Okay, if you're married, I would encourage you to continue to be married, but don't neglect the things of the Lord. I'm unmarried, so it's easier for me to find time to pray. It's easier for me to find time to read the Bible and to study. It's easier for me to get in my car and go to the hospital and visit somebody if I need to. So that's the freedom that I have by being a celibate priest in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. And I need to take advantage of that. If you're a married man, be the best husband you can be. Be the best father or grandfather you can be. But don't neglect the things of the Lord. The same if you're an unmarried woman. If you're an unmarried woman, like a sister or a consecrated virgin, then embrace that lifestyle and see it as a gift that God has given you. If you're a married woman, be the best wife you can be. Be the best mother or grandmother you can be. Don't neglect the things of the Lord either. So I think Paul is right on here. And let's just be the best, either married or unmarried people we are. Embrace our state of life. And whatever God calls us to do, let's do it with gusto. And let's do it so that we honor God and inspire people. Thank you, and God bless. Hey, just a little reminder. For the season of Lent, we're going to be doing something here at the Malvern Retreat House, something new. On the Tuesdays of Lent, we're going to be meeting in Upper McShane, and we're going to be having a faith formation program. We're going to be focusing on one part of this faith formation program. It's going to be a Bible study. And we will be revisiting the readings that we heard at Mass on Sunday. And that's one of the reasons, about 10 weeks ago, we started to do these teachings. This is setting us up for this faith formation program called Connections. So if you'd like to learn more information about it, contact my assistant, Joanne Bouvier, at the Retreat House. We'll get some information to you. Everybody is going to need a workbook to be part of the program, and we want to get those workbooks to you before Ash Wednesday. So call Joanne. I'm sure most of you know her. Spread the word. Maybe you want to do this program with a couple of people. It lasts about an hour and a half on a Tuesday night, and it begins on the Tuesday after Ash Wednesday. Thanks, everyone, and God bless you.